are good for nothing. You will never amount to anything, be anybody. Why were you born? Toastmasters, honored guests, what do you think the odds are of someone hearing that growing up, that they'll become a productive member of society? Unfortunately, those words came from my well-meaning parents who just didn't know how to deal with a rambunctious, all over the place, troubled child. They just didn't know. On top of that, I had interesting role models. From the age of 4 to 16, I grew up in a 10-bedroom boarding house. My parents and I lived in one bedroom and we rented the other 9. So what that looked like was community bathrooms, community hallways, of course, community laundry rooms, and also community payphone, which we all made calls. Summer camp? No, nothing like that. And so over the years, I found out that the renters, many of the renters, had tremendous challenges. That's what you do in a boarding house, unfortunately. And I explored it, and one of their biggest challenges was oxygen deprivation. Let me explain that. Oxygen is to the body what encouragement is to the soul. And oxygenation is when you breathe encouragement into the soul. And the opposite of that is oxygen deprivation, where people live without encouragement or very little. And I found out that many of those renters were just like me and lived without oxygen for their soul. By the time I was 4th grade, I was actually accused of starting a shoplifting ring with 4th and 5th graders. Now look at this face, come on. Does this look like somebody who could do something like that? I say not. A few weeks down the road, my teacher called everybody into the classroom and had them kneel, and the prayer went like this. We know that Batinga will be in jail by the time he's 18. And I shut down. I didn't hear anything else. I cringed and cowered as I heard those words. Suck the oxygen out of my body. The very next day, I got into a fight with James, my classmate. So you can guess what that teacher said. She threw her arms in exasperation, and she too had given up on me in the 4th grade. By the time I was 15, I too had given up on myself. I didn't think there was any life left for me. In fact, I picked an age, arbitrarily, 25. I lived till 25. And this was culminated, by the way, by my parents' conversation. You are going to go to boarding school your junior and senior year in high school. Now, did I say conversation? I didn't mean conversation. It was a one-way thing, in other words. From boarding house to boarding school, from bad to worse. And so off I went. After barely graduating high school, and I mean barely graduating high school, I decided there was only one option for me, and that was the military. Made sense, right? I wasn't going to live till 25. I had adopted the mantra that it is a great thing to die for your country. So off to boot camp I went. You should have seen me. Now I'm from Hawaii. I came in to boot camp off the bus with flip-flops, bright Hawaiian shirt, white puka shell, seashell necklace, full beard, and long hair past my shoulders. Now, can you picture that? Try. No, I wasn't very smart, I'm telling you. The drill instructors descended on me like Toastmasters to-dos. Sorry, wrong analogy. Like angry hornets. Like angry hornets to an intruder. And they ridiculed me for what seemed like an eternity. It actually was hilarious to them. Interestingly enough, boot camp wasn't a problem for me. Even that scattered mind I had didn't matter. It was all pure action. I didn't have to think. And so I took to it like Donald Trump to Hairspray. And by the way, I would love to have that problem. 4 weeks into boot camp, out of the blue, I'm running Camp Pendleton, not far from here. I'm running, And all of a sudden I hear out of the blue from an unrecognized voice, "Private Batinga, front and center." Aye, sir, I replied as I ran to the nearest office, locked up in front of drill instructor Sergeant Abrams' office. By the way, he wasn't even my drill instructor. He called me out. And so I reported into him. And he briskly walked up to me and he put his drill instructor Marine Corps hat on me. And then he whipped around his belt and he put it around my waist. I had no clue what he was doing. As he glared at me, stared at me directly into the eyes, he said, "In 2 years, I want you to come back and train Marines. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir," I replied. As I ran out, I was confused. For years, I was told I was good for nothing, never be anybody, never amount to anything. And here was somebody I respected telling me that I could be somebody. Actually, I was somebody. And I could be even more. He breathed oxygen into my soul. And for a few moments, those conflicting beliefs sat there, and eventually they clashed. And thankfully, Drill Instructor Sergeant Abrams' belief in me moved me forward. And my issues, those low self-esteem issues, frittered away. Good for nothing? No. Drill Instructor Sergeant Abrams taught me that I am good for something. He taught me that sometimes it just takes a little encouragement, to turn somebody over. And in those 15 words and 20 seconds, I changed my life. He actually saved my life so that I can encourage other people. Sandy Amelino, you are an amazing Toastmaster. She started over 40 clubs, and I'm always privileged to work with you. Roz Carter, you are an amazing leader, and I appreciate joining your club. A couple weeks ago, Karen Baumgartner, I sent an email to her by mistake, and her reply to me was, "Al," to my apology, "Al, every time I hear from you, it's a good thing." That was her reply. All three of them, and many more in this room, oxygenate me. You breathe oxygen into my life. Toastmasters, honored guests, every time you encourage somebody, you change their lives. Mr. Toastmaster.